All right, good morning. It is Monday, March the whatever. I think it's the 30th. And wanted to pop on and sort of get back into putting out some daily, weekly, monthly content. It's a new month. I've got my coffee here. So if I'm sipping while I am recording, I do not apologize. Want to pop on. The title of this video is pretty crazy, pretty interesting. I want to talk about my experience at the beginning of February and why I might have had the coronavirus and possibly why you might or might have had it as well. So I didn't get diagnosed. I didn't get tested. I'm not a physician or a healthcare worker, or I don't have any experience in that. So this is strictly off of all of the research I've done, but all of the symptoms that have come out and are coming out of what people have experienced when they've had it. So let's go back before I talk about this. So we know that from official media reports, sometime in November is when they first isolated the first person that they figured out had it. By that time, it was too late. Many people contracted it. This had happened in Wuhan, China, that the media report has talked about. And by that period, it had spread significantly. We're seeing a number of deaths in major cases in Italy because a lot of companies have sold their businesses to China, specifically Chinese companies. And so there was a lot of travel back and forth specifically from Wuhan in that area to some of the hardest hit places in Italy. But China is a major destination, and a lot of people can travel and do travel from China all over the world, and people that are doing business travel from everywhere in the world to China because China is a major hub spot for manufacturing and producing a lot of the products that you and I use today. So that brings me to me, and end of January, I play hockey 4 times a week. I was playing hockey 4 times a week. Beginning of January, we all got back in the swing of things, right? Christmas is over and New Year's is over. We're all back to work. We're all back to kind of living our life normally. And it's crazy to think that we are where we are now. Only 2 months ago, 3 months ago, life was just how it was. So fast forward to middle of January, busy, lots of hockey, and I get asked a lot, you play a lot of hockey, it's crazy. Hockey to me is like my exercise. It's my 1 hour every day to basically mentally get in my own head, forget everything else that's going on in the world, and just focus on something. And so I truly enjoy it and love being on the ice. So one of the hardest things for me right now is not being able to, one, really exercise the way I was, and two, being able to get into that mental headspace. Even though we're self-isolating, it's still really challenging. So playing hockey, being in my line of work, I'm meeting people and talking to people and with different people all the time, like hundreds of people sometimes a day. So I've come in contact with probably thousands of people, walking into different like Home Depots or Ronas or Lowe's, or meeting different clients, hockey players, like everybody, right? So middle to end of January, I started to get like a normal cough. Like it was like a tickle in my throat, right? Kind of like trying to be like, okay, whatever, it's that time of year. Want to say something. Coronavirus, COVID-19, not talked about at all. Not picked up on our radar, the media wasn't talking about it. We had no clue what was going on. So, and it's funny because I have a text message with one of the guys that I play with, February 5th, talking about coronavirus. This is where it gets a little interesting. So, like the second last week of January, I don't have a specific date, but in that time period, I started getting a little bit sick. For me, I get sick once a year, maybe, and if I get sick, I play through it. I feel like I need to sweat it out. If I really need to take a couple days just to like let my body go, like that's fine. But for the most part, I'm going, and I feel like I get through a couple hard skates, I get through a couple good work days, and I'm back to normal. This wasn't the case. This cough was persistent and it wouldn't go away, and it ended up developing into probably the worst sickness I've ever had, ever. This It happened fairly quickly, and I couldn't get off my couch for like 2 to 3 days. So I have a message February 5th to one of the guys that organizes my Wednesday night hockey. I messaged him, and I'm a trooper. Like, I will go through hell and high water to get to hockey. I told him, I said I can't get off my couch, and I couldn't breathe. I physically, like, I could breathe, but it was like very short, sharp, painful breaths. Never felt like that before. And I've had colds. I mean, everybody gets a cold and everybody gets pretty sick, probably from the flu or whatever, but this is really weird. This is just something that you don't normally experience. I had sweats. I didn't get a temperature test or anything, but my head was ready to explode. Like, it was a major fever. So here's some things that I think were corona or COVID. I had no real nasal congestion. I can't remember not being able to taste or smell like food or coffee or stuff like that. I can't remember because it wasn't at the time. We know now to look for those symptoms, but back then it was like, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't remember one way or the other. So I can't say that, but man, oh man, like, it was like the worst cold ever. The thing was, so I self-isolated for probably 4 to 5 days to try and like just shut down and let my body do a hard reset. Slept a lot, but it was the most excruciating thing I've ever gone through in terms of a sickness. So, did I have it? I don't know. But looking at what we know now, it's very possible. And a lot of people, they say, don't show major symptoms but still have it and can carry it. And then most importantly, but like really scary, you don't know you have it. So you're coughing, you're touching stuff, and then you're in a grocery store or you're in Home Depot or you're, with friends that you just went for coffee with, or whatever the situation. You're at work and you're like touching a cup that you're going to give to somebody and you don't even think twice about it, and it just happens. And that's community spread. That's how quickly it happens. The reason why I'm making this video is, one, self-awareness for everybody that's watching this. Number two, I think this was here in January and probably here in December, and we had no clue that it was. And it didn't come to light until like end of February, when people really started thinking about that it was here, that it was on home soil, that it was in Canada, that it was where we are. The reality is, it was here long before that, in my opinion. And I could have been one of thousands of people that probably had this, that didn't know we had it. Okay? Here's the scary thing, and this is why we need to stay home. Okay, this is like a PSA to everybody. Please share this, because I think it's an extremely important message. Most people don't know they have it. And so while we feel good now, and we feel great to go out and do grocery shopping and be outside, and hey, we can hang out, we can do this, we can do that, we could be carrying it. And you could be endangering the lives of many other people. The problem with this is it's not going to go away. The only way it's going to go away is if we stay in and not go out. The more we go out, the more opportunity there is for this virus to spread. So, if you have a feeling of like, we need to go out and be in public places and do public things, right now is not the time. The bright side of this is, if I did have it, I think I did, I came through it. I am back to normal. I still have a tickle that I can't get rid of. It's the season, right? It happens. But I also don't really like to go on antibiotics unless I absolutely have to. I didn't for this. But so I probably could get rid of this cold or this tickle if I did. But the positive news is if you do have it, or if you think you've got it, or if you have something similar to what I had, then there's a good chance that you can beat this thing. You just can't go out. So again, I'm not stating I had it. I never got tested because there wasn't any tests. I went to the hospital. They wouldn't have a test. They didn't know what it was beginning of February. And to think that for the 3 or 4 days prior to me really dying into this thing, like really coming into it, I was still kind of like, whoa, right? I was out and about because I had no idea. You have no idea. You think it's just like a common cold. And then all of a sudden, it hits you. And it's crazy. So, did I have it? Who knows? Didn't have a test. I'm going back now, like pretty much 2 months. But that being said, stay in. We're not going to beat this thing, the silent virus, this virus that doesn't discriminate, that doesn't care if you're male or female, doesn't matter what skin color you have. It doesn't matter if you're young or old. Anybody and everybody can get it. The only way we are actually going to prevent this is if we can social distance, self-isolate, and stay out of the public. Okay. That's it. I overcame whatever I had, whether it was or not. If you're experiencing something crazy like that, there are now tests and phone numbers and all that stuff. I'm going to try and look some of that up before I post this. So hopefully there's some information for you to call. But stay safe, be well. Happy Monday. We are in this for the long haul. I'm going to be making another video about how this isn't going away next week. We're going to be here for a couple months. So what are we going to do? I've got some strategies I'm coming up with, but life is changing, people. Life is changing. Let's be positive. Let's be happy. Check in with people that you like, love, and care about. Until the next video, hope you have a fantastic Monday. Hope you have a great week.